When preparing for a retail interview, it's essential to be aware of common questions that may be asked. One of the first questions you might encounter is, "Why would you like to work at our store?" The interviewer wants to ensure you have a genuine interest in their store and aren't just applying to any available position. To answer this, you should express a few reasons why you're drawn to the company, highlighting how you'd be an excellent fit. Examples of reasons you might give include the store's great workplace culture, accommodating work hours, positive online reviews, a memorable shopping experience, a personal connection to an employee, or a mission statement that resonates with you. For instance, you could say, "I've shopped at your store often over the past couple of years and have always had a positive experience. Your store was the first place I thought of when I started applying for work. And I have a true appreciation for what you do here." Another question you might be asked is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you handle customer complaints? This can be a challenging question, as nobody is perfect in conflict situations. You should answer to the best of your ability, backing up your response with any formal training you've received in complaints and dispute resolution. For example, you might say, "I focus heavily on listening and problem solving when it comes to customer complaints. And I strive for complete understanding in times of conflict. I'd rate myself a 9 out of 10, as I believe my skills are solid in this area." You may also be asked to describe a time when you failed at customer service. Most retail employees have had a situation where a customer interaction didn't go as planned. When answering this question, try to think of a problem that isn't too severe and outline the issue, the action you took, and what you learned from the experience. For instance, you might describe a situation where a customer complained about an issue, and you apologized and took steps to correct the problem. However, you might also acknowledge that you could have done more, such as following up with the customer after the issue was resolved to ensure they were satisfied. The interviewer may also ask, "What do you like least about working in retail?" When responding to this question, it's essential to avoid complaining about aspects of the job and instead discuss how you would make the best of an unpleasant situation. You might choose a relatable example that isn't too serious, such as dealing with rude customers. You could say, "I don't particularly enjoy interacting with rude customers who speak down to me, but I genuinely want to help my customers. When I encounter a rude customer, I continue to be my nice and helpful self, and they usually come around." Finally, you might be asked, if a customer demands to speak to a manager, what do you do? This situation can happen to anyone and doesn't necessarily mean you've done something wrong. However, your manager's time is valuable, and most retail associates receive training in dispute resolution. When answering this question, you should talk about the action you would take in this scenario, highlighting any relevant training you've received. For example, you might say, "I practice my dispute resolution training and do everything I can to resolve the issue at the associate level before escalating it to a manager. If the customer is still not satisfied, I would apologize and ask if we could come to a resolution before involving my manager, as I understand the importance of their time."